first you have to think about the problem, what is your problem domain, and then secondly you have to see what will be the input to your program and what will be the output from your program. Then third step is to find out the functionalities or functional requirement for your solution. Okay, till now I have not written any program. I will check for the functions required for the program. Like I have, please maintain the silence.
ఇదేనారా అని చెప్పు.
And then after once you will finalize with the total number of functions, then you will go for choosing the language, in which language you are comfortable with. Once you have all these things, then you will start your program writing, and your program need to be syntactically correct, because if your program will not be syntactically correct, then you will come up with a failed compilation process, because compiler will first check the syntactic errors, whether your program is as per the language grammar or not, or as per the rules and regulations that governs the particular programming language or not. Once your program is error free, then it will be converted into the object code, and then the object code will run through the linker, and the linker will link all the libraries, all the functions to your main program, and then after the executable file will be created. And once the executable file will be created, then your executable file will process in the processor with the help of your primary memory. First, the executable file will reside in your primary memory, that is random access memory, and then the processor will fetch, and in between there is a process, that is loader will make the process in the memory from where the program execution will begin. And then the program, once the program execution will begin, the exe file will get executed and it will come up with the result. Then you have to check whether the result you are getting from your program and that is matched with the result you have decided or not. If both the results are mapping with each other या फिर matching with each other, अगर वो दोनों result match हो रहे हैं एक दूसरे के साथ, तो it will be okay, all correct, that your program is absolutely correct. So all these things we have discussed. So today we will go for the second session. Just I am sharing my screen. Okay, now today we will discuss about the second session, and also I will discuss about the few things that I left in the first session due to insufficient time. So let us see what are the outlines for today's class. First one is the classification of data types, then the modifiers, then range of a data type, ASCII, what is an ASCII, then several operators. Let's see how much time we will get and how much things we can cover. As I said, जैसे कि मैं बताया था, this is the basic structure of a programming, and first is the preprocessor directives, which is starting with #include. stdio.h stands for the standard input output .h header file. Now header file is nothing but a collection of different functionalities, inbuilt functionalities. Why we are including the header file, as I said earlier, because this stdio.h is very much essential for any C programming, because this is standard input output header file. Any operation, कोई भी ऑपरेशन अगर मैं स्टैंडर्ड इनपुट डिवाइस जैसे कि कीबोर्ड और स्टैंडर्ड आउटपुट डिवाइस जैसे कि मेरा मॉनिटर, उसी के साथ कोई भी ऑपरेशन मैं करता हूं, तो डेफिनेटली मुझे फंक्शन का जरूरत पड़ेगा, क्योंकि as I said, your system is a hardware which is a dumb. The way you will instruct your system, जैसे आप इंस्ट्रक्ट करोगे अपने सिस्टम को, उसी हिसाब से आपका सिस्टम एक्ट करता है. ये हर सिस्टम के लिए लागू है और हर प्रोग्रामिंग लैंग्वेज के लिए लागू है. सो अगर मैं जैसे कि फर्स्ट बताया कि मुझे डिसाइड करना पड़ता है कि मेरे सिस्टम को इनपुट क्या जाएगा, आउटपुट क्या आएगा, तो अगर मैं सोच रहा हूं कि इनपुट कैसे जाएगा, तो मुझे स्टैंडर्ड इनपुट डिवाइस यूज करना पड़ेगा। एंड स्टैंडर्ड इनपुट डिवाइस कैसे यूज करूंगा, वो तो एक हार्डवेयर है। तो मैं इंस्ट्रक्शन कैसे दूंगा, तो मैं कुछ फंक्शन यूज करूंगा। एंड उस फंक्शन, बहुत सारा ऐसे फंक्शन है जो आप प्रोग्राम, जो कि आपका डिफॉल्ट लाइब्रेरी के साथ आता है, जो कि ऑलरेडी मेड हुआ है, जो कि आप जब कंपाइलर या फिर आप जब अपना प्रोग्राम का सॉफ्टवेयर इंस्टॉल करते हो, उसी के साथ बहुत सारा लाइब्रेरीज भी इंस्टॉल होते हैं। पाइथन हो या फिर जावा हो या फिर कोई भी लैंग्वेज हो, बहुत सारा इनबिल्ट लाइब्रेरीज होता है, क्योंकि वो हमको हेल्प करते हैं। जब हमको कोई नया फंक्शनैलिटी इसका रिक्वायरमेंट होता है, उस टाइम हम क्या करते हैं ना, एक यूजर अपना एक फंक्शन डिक्लेयर करता है एंड डिफाइन करता है, एंड अपना फंक्शन अपने हिसाब से काम करता है। पर इनबिल्ट फंक्शन हमेशा सिस्टम के हिसाब से काम करता है, जो कि ऑलरेडी प्री डिफाइंड है। उसी सारे प्री डिफाइंड फंक्शंस को अगर हम अपने प्रोग्राम में यूज करना चाहते हैं, तो हम क्या करते हैं ना, stdio.h हेडर फाइल को अपने प्रोग्राम के साथ इंक्लूड करते हैं। हैश इंक्लूड इज द प्री प्रोसेसर डायरेक्टिव। प्री प्रोसेसर के बारे में मैं बताया था लास्ट क्लास, जो कि कंपाइलेशन होने से पहले कुछ कुछ चीज प्री प्रोसेस्ड होता है, so that it will be used as a replacement in the program. जैसे कि मैं बताया था, pi equal to 3.141. I can use 3.141 many times in the program as required, or simply I will make a replacement for 3.141, that is pi, and I will use that replacement, that word, which will be signified as 3.141 in the program. So this is the work of preprocessor directives. Then the main thing comes, that is the main function. As I said earlier, that your program execution always begins with your main function. Main function means main function. It is the main function. Program is the entry point to a C program. Okay, so I have to write the main function. Any more functionalities I want, अगर और कोई फंक्शन में एग्जीक्यूट करना चाहता हूं, तो इनसाइड द मेन फंक्शन मुझे लिखना पड़ेगा, और या फिर इनसाइड द मेन फंक्शन मुझे कॉल करना पड़ेगा, क्योंकि मेन फंक्शन इज द एंट्री पॉइंट टू एनी सी प्रोग्राम। मेन फंक्शन का एंट्री गेट होता है ओपनिंग कर्ली ब्रेसेस, आप देख सकते हो जूम करके। मेन जो ब्लॉक है उसका जो एंट्री पॉइंट है वो ओपनिंग कर्ली ब्रेसेस है। जब तक आप इसको बंद नहीं करोगे, तब तक मेन प्रोग्राम या फिर मेन फंक्शन एग्जीक्यूट नहीं होगा। एंड उसके अंदर क्या रहेगा, आपका टोटल कोड जो कि काम होने वाला है, जो कि सोल्यूशन है, वो वाला चीज आपका ये ब्लॉक के अंदर रहेगा। कौन सा ब्लॉक के अंदर, मेन फंक्शन का ब्लॉक के अंदर। ओके, नाउ जस्ट गो टू द नेक्स्ट स्लाइड। देन कम्स टू द, ये सारे हम डिस्कस किए थे, एंड देन कम्स टू द डेटा टाइप। नाउ जैसे कि मैं बताया था, व्हाट इज ए वेरिएबल। वेरिएबल इज द नेम्ड मेमोरी लोकेशन। कोई भी मेमोरी लोकेशन का दो चीज होता है, एक तो नाम होता है, एक तो एड्रेस होता है। एंड हमको दोनों चीज चाहिए, एड्रेस भी चाहिए, नाम भी चाहिए। तो जब एज ए यूजर, अगर मैं कुछ मेमोरी लोकेशन को यूज करना चाहता हूं, अगर मैं उसका नामकरण करना चाहता हूं, तो मुझे एक वेरिएबल डिक्लेयर करना पड़ेगा। पर वेरिएबल में क्या रखूंगा, क्या रखना चाहता हूं, so means what is the why the memory space will be used, for which data will be stored in the memory space, that again will be decided by the user. मेरे मेमोरी लोकेशन का नाम क्या होगा, what data I will store in the memory location, that will be decided by the user. And what data, क्या डाटा रहेगा, that will be defined by the data type. That means for using a memory location, I need what? First thing, name of the memory location, which is given by the user in the form of a
Hello, Alok sir. Good afternoon. Hello, Alok sir. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
हेमलता सैनी बात कर रहे हैं सर। सर ये सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को माइक म्यूट कीजिए ना सर, प्लीज।
मैं म्यूट कर
अनम्यूट
चुका
कीजिए।
था।
बैकग्राउंड म्यूजिक।
Hello. Okay. Now, data type, as the name says, data type means it signifies what kind of data I want to store in my memory. Which memory? That memory whose name I have given in terms of an identifier or variable name. So data type defines what data will be stored in the memory, in which manner it will be stored in the memory. That things is being decided by the data type. Now, if I am following the syntax of any programming language, there are some syntax which is related to how to declare the data type, and that is very much essential. If you will be wrong with the syntax, then your compiler will generate the error and your program will not be executed, so, or compiled. So I have to obey the rules that are used for declaring a data type and variable, or declaring a variable using the data type. So data type signifies what kind of data I will store in my memory. Variable signifies what is the name of the memory location I want to use for the particular data data through the data type. Okay, so this is all about data type. Now again, data type is classified into three broad categories, very essential to know. First one is the primitive data type or primary data type or basic data type. Second one is the derived data type, and third one is the user defined data type. Now I can say, by please mute your microphone. Humble request to all the participants. So we have primitive data types, we have derived data types, we have user defined data types. Under primitive data types, we have integer, character, float, double. In some book, you can find void is also a primitive data type. We can take void as a primitive data type or a separate kind of data type. Void means there is no type. Void means, generally we are telling this space is void. Void means there is nothing I can find in the space. Then we are telling that this space is void. Similarly, if I don't know what is the type of data, then I can use void there. In many of the programs, you can find it is written as void main. Okay, that means there is nothing. There is no specific data type has been used for this main function. But whenever we are telling about the primitive data type, that is character, integer, float, and double. I am requesting all the participants, please switch off your microphone so that other participants can.
Hello. Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir. Where are you from?
I am from NSTI W Panipat.
Oh. Training center. Which training center?
NSTI. That is National Skill
Achha,
Training Institute
NSTI.
for Women, Panipat. Yeah.
Oh. I'm from Maharashtra.
Okay, nice to meet you here.
Thanks.
Okay.
Same here.
Okay. So now the second thing is that derived data type, and third thing is your user defined data type. Now in the derived data type category, we have three important concepts, that is array, pointer, and function. And in user defined data type, we have other three concepts like enum, structure, and union. You know, if you will see this particular slide, I can say that it is a total course. In broad sense, it is the total course that is required for the learning of C language or the basic programming of C language. So first we will see about primitive data type. Now what I said, data type means your data type signifies how the data is stored in the memory. Variable signifies the name of the memory location. So primitive data type signifies a single value. Just remember what I am telling, a single value. How? A single value will be stored in the memory. Okay, again I am repeating, how a single value will be stored in the memory, that is being defined by the primitive or primary or basic data type, not multiple values. Okay, so whenever I'm writing CHAR, character, that signifies the character. For example, my name is Alok Ranjan Prashni, and if I will ask what is the first character of my name, if I will ask what is the first character of my name, then definitely the answer will be A. What is the second character of my name, then definitely the answer will be L. What is the third character of my name, definitely the answer will be O. That means whenever we are discussing about alphabets, suddenly we are telling all alphabets are one individual character. Whenever I want to store one alphabet in the memory, then I have to use the character. That means during the declaration of your data type, during the declaration of your variable, you have to specify what is the data type. If such disturbance will continue, then it will be not beneficial for you to learn. Okay, so I repeatedly
सर आप अपनी
tell you,
तरफ से माइक बंद करिए ना।
सर अगर किसी को पूछना है तो माइक बंद मत करो। अगर किसी को पूछना है तो
okay.
I have muted all the participants and only the host and co-host has the authority to unmute.
Okay, thank you sir. So जैसे कि मैं बताया, अगर मैं एक कैरेक्टर स्टोर करना चाहता हूं अपना मेमोरी के अंदर, सो मुझे एक चीज करना पड़ेगा, मेमोरी एक लोकेशन को ब्लॉक करना पड़ेगा जिसका नाम मुझे देना पड़ेगा, एंड सेकेंडली मुझे सिग्निफाई करना पड़ेगा इस मेमोरी लोकेशन में क्या रहेगा। अगर मैं एक कैरेक्टर वैल्यू रखना चाहता हूं तो मैं लिखूंगा CHAR, देन नेम ऑफ द वेरिएबल, देन सेमीकोलन। एंड रिमेंबर एवरी स्टेटमेंट मीन्स क्या? Statement means every lines present in your lines of code which is creating certain output on execution is called a statement. Remember this. Every line present in your program, if that line is being executed to produce certain output, then that line is called a statement. Okay. So every statement in C language should be ended with semicolon. Okay. If you are missing with the semicolon, definitely the compiler will generate the syntax error. It will become as expression syntax. The error name will be expression syntax. So whenever I'm declaring a variable of character type, then I have to write CHAR, then the variable name, then semicolon as variable declaration. Whenever I want to store any integer number, it may be 0, it may be something negative number, it may be a positive number, then I will use the data type as integer. If I will I will run with, or I want to declare a floating point value. Floating point value means that should be a decimal point, and before decimal and after decimal we have certain numbers. In easier sense, I want to explain like this. So if I want to store some value of such kind in the memory, then I have to declare the name of the memory as well as the type of the memory, so that the compiler data user is interested in, which he has declared with the data type float. And the higher version of the float is double, where we have more number of values before decimal point and more number of values after decimal point, which is greater than the floating range. Then we will use the double data type. So these are the 4 primary data type. And as I said, void is void. Void means nothing. That means if I am writing void before any function. I cannot write void before any variable declaration, because why I am declaring the variable? To store something. Okay, if I don't know what kind of value I will store in the memory, then why I am declaring the variable? Simple. So void cannot be used as a data type for a variable, but yes, we can use as a return type preceding to any member function that we'll cover later on. Okay, so these are the 4 things we have to remember. Similarly, derived data type is having all the characteristics of the basic data types as well as some more characteristics, added characteristics to the basic or primitive data type. Hence, we call it as a derived data type. Apart from this primitive data type and derived data type, another kind of data type we have that is important, that is called user defined data type. Now user defined data type means what? As the name says, जैसे कि नाम हमको बता रहा है, user defined, that means the data type which is being defined by the user. As I said, what data type signifies? Data type signifies what kind of data to be stored in the memory, how the data will be stored in the memory, how many number of data will be stored in the memory. If all these things are defined by the user during the program writing, then we cannot go with the primitive and derived data type, or rather we can go with the user defined data type. Under user defined data type, we have structure and union, and another data type that is enum is also there. Okay, sometimes you can find enum is written separately than the user defined data type, but for more sure I am telling structure and union both are user defined data type. You can take enum under the user defined data type, or you can take enum as a separate data type like void. I said in some books void is also written separately beyond the primitive data type. I think clear till now. Okay. Then a modifier, very important modifier to know. Modifier comes from the word modify. If anything I have, but I am not satisfied with that thing, then I will modify the thing. And in C, whenever you are declaring a data type and you are not satisfied with the current facilities available with that particular data type as default, then you can use certain modifiers to modify the data type. Now, what are those modifiers? Just see here, I am writing here declaration name and type. Now I have written char character. Char signifies the character data type. Now in the second line, in the third line, you can find unsigned character. Now unsigned character, in unsigned character, unsigned is the modifier and character is the data type. Now how unsigned is the modifier? What it modifies? Okay. So answer is like this. Character is a data type. That means we know that whenever I am declaring something as character, I can only store the character values. Now whenever I am declaring the unsigned character, now I am telling to the compiler that this variable with such declaration, that is character and the modifier unsigned, if it will accept any value, any integer value under character, then it should not be a negative number, it should be a positive number. Whenever I am telling unsigned, sign means what? Either positive or negative. If I do not have the negative number, then I can say the values are unsigned, because positive number never require any sign. But in case of negative number, you have to signify it with the negative sign. So in that case, what will happen? Now you have to write the unsigned character. So compiler will easy that it will use only the value which is having no negative signature beyond or before the variable. Okay. Similarly, if I want to declare something which is signifying the signed character or some value with the negative signature, then I have to use the signed character. In case of integer also, I have unsigned integer, I have signed integer. Also, I have short integer, long integer. then signed integer, unsigned integer, all these signed, unsigned, short, long, everything. Like you can find here, unsigned integer, signed short integer. Two things I have used. I have modified the integer with signed integer and short integer. Short means छोटा integer. अगर मैं चाहता हूं कि the value उसका range कुछ पर्टिकुलर रेंज के अंदर रहे, उस वैल्यू को मैं यूज करना चाहता हूं जिसका रेंज ये वैल्यू से ये वैल्यू तक, देयर इज सम बाउंड्री वैल्यू दैट इज फ्रॉम दिस वैल्यू टू दिस वैल्यू, इफ आई एम यूजिंग देन आई कैन टेक इट एज शॉर्ट इंटीजर. If beyond that range I have some value to store in the memory, then I will definitely go with the long integer. Okay. Similarly, we have float. Similarly, we have double. They are the basic types, but with modifiers, I can write long double. I know that double is beyond the float. Float से वो बड़ा है, पर और बड़ा नंबर में स्टोर करना चाहता हूँ. मेरे पास मेमोरी है, मेरे पास प्रोसेसिंग कैपेबिलिटी है. Then I want to execute my program with bigger values. Then in that case, you can go with long double. Okay. So in that case, you have to declare like this. So all these things are called your modifiers. Okay. So you have to remember this. Okay. Now, important thing. Many times I said range. Now, how to find the range? In the first class, I said about if anybody will ask what is the size of your integer, then definitely your answer should not be it is 2 byte or 4 byte or 8 byte. Rather, you will ask him what is the word length of your processor. Now, what is a word length? We had discussed in the last class. Number of bits present in a word is nothing but your word length, because our computing system is a digital system, and we know that digital system deals with 0 and 1. Every 0 and 1 having the size that is bit, that is 1 bit. To store 0, we need 1 bit, and to store 1, we need 1 bit. Now, whenever I am supplying any data to my computing system, then it will treat that data in the form of binary digit. So binary digit means definitely it is a collection of 1 and 0. So whenever I have certain collection of 1 and 0 in the memory, then I am telling this particular collection as a word. And the number of bits present in that particular word, जितना number of bits उस word के अंदर present है, उसको मैं बोलता हूँ word length. Okay. So this is about the word length. Obviously, if whenever I am telling, do you know, friend, my system is 16 bit. Do you know, friend, my system is 32 bit. Do you know, friend, my system is 64 bit. So I am faster than you. Then the 32 bit system, that is the owner will say, look, 16 bit, I am faster than you. So this is the game of your word length. Your system is identifying 16 bit at a time because your word length is allowing a single word of length 16 bit to work with in your processor, to work with in your system. In case of 32-bit system, the 32-bit is the maximum word length, and that particular word length can be operational inside your memory and your processor. In case of 64-bit, the story is same, but the space and the capability is different in terms of word length, that is 64-bit. So this is all about your question. Whenever the interviewer will ask what is the size of an integer, what is the size of an integer in your system, then definitely your question will be which system, sir, in which system, what is the word length of your system, or your system is how many bit. Okay, so if your system is 16 bit, then definitely your answer will be my integer in your system is 16 bit, but my integer in my system it is 32 bit, because I have a faster system than you in terms of word length. So this is all about word length. Here, what range I have taken, that is related to the 16-bit machine. And in 16-bit machine, character is 1 byte. Then your integer is 2 byte, because it is a 16-bit machine. 16-bit, 1 byte is 8 bit, and 16-bit means 2 byte. That means to store a number, to store an integer number, your system allocates a maximum 16 bit of memory for the particular variable whose name you have given because variable is nothing but your named memory location. So this is all about. Now, very good question will be how to find the range of a variable. Okay, now I am giving one example here. Let's say we know that to store one character, maybe A, maybe B, maybe I have 4 characters in my first name, that is ALOK. So to store A, my system will allocate that is 1 byte, that is 8-bit. To store O, my system will allocate more 8-bit. To store K, my system will allocate more 8-bit. So every time it will allocate 8-bit. But range, what signifies range? Range means what kind of value I can store inside that particular memory location. Okay, that is being defined by the range of a particular data type or variable. Simple formula, just see. The range varies from, just look here, you can find there is 2 concepts, that is signed character and unsigned character, unlike signed integer and unsigned integer. First, take the example of signed character. Okay, signed character is same as normal character. Whenever I am not defining what kind of, whether signed value I will store or unsigned value I will store, definitely character will be signified for both signed value and unsigned value. Whenever I am writing integer, integer is signifying to take both normal value, that is positive values, negative value, even 0. So whenever I want to signify, only my character data type will take characters as well as numbers, that is positive numbers. Then I have to write unsigned character. If I want to supply any negative value to my character data type, you can ask, why sir you are telling repeatedly that negative value to the character data type? You are telling that character is storing the character, but how it is taking the values? Definitely I will be happy to clear this doubt. Just see here, the range of, first just try to understand this, the range of your character is minus 2. 2 means binary, the base is 2. 2 to the power n minus 1. N is what? Number of bits allocated to store a single character. Number of bits allocated to store a single character, I said 1 byte means 8-bit. So my minimum age, the negative range or the beginning point of the negative range is minus 2 to the power 8 minus 1, and my maximum range will be 2 to the power n minus 1 minus 1. Why? Very simple. Whenever I am calculating a range, you tell me what are the negative values. Those values with the negative signature or negative sign, then we are telling it as a negative value. But what about the 0? Is 0 is negative? I feel it is not negative. But whenever I am calculating the positive value, I am counting 0. Sometimes I am starting my counting from 0. So if I am telling I need 5 positive values, then I can start counting from 1 to 4, 1 to 5, or you can start counting from 0 to 4. Now 0 to 4, again you are telling that all are positive numbers. That's why whenever we are deciding the positive, that's why whenever I am thinking about the positive values in a signed declaration, then I have to count from 0 to n minus 1. Okay, that's why I am making subtraction of 1 from the boundary value in the positive side. Just see here. Here the range is what? Minus 128 to 127. How to get it? Very simple. Character is 1 byte, that is 8-bit. Now I am calculating the range for the signed character. Now what is signed character? That is minus 2 to the power 8 is the n value, 8 minus 1. Minus 2 to the power 8 minus 1 is minus 2 to the power 7. That is, what is minus 2 to the power 7? That is minus 128. Now I got 128. Okay. Then next, come to next part. Now find out the positive range boundary. Now in positive range boundary, I am writing 2 to the power 8 minus 1, that is 2 to the power n minus 1. Minus 1 from whole minus 1, that is 2 to the power 7. Minus 1, that is 127. So my range I got minus 128 to 127. That means any value fall in between minus 128 to 127 can be accommodated in that memory location whose name I have given and whose data type I have taken as signed character or normal character. But what is the story about your own signed character? Very simple. Now, as I said, own signed character 0 to the power 8. Why 2 to the power 8? Because here the n value is 8. Okay, minus 1. I am not calculating any negative value for this. So I am writing 0 to 2 to the power 8. That is 2 to the power 8 means 256 minus 1. So all the values that are falling under the range of 0 to 255, all 256 values can be stored with the variable declared as on signed character. Question will be, sir, how we are storing A, B, C, D inside character? You are repeatedly telling that 0 to 255 we can store inside the on signed integer, minus 128 to 127 we can store inside the signed in character. Okay, then how we are? I mean, this is all about the character. Okay, how we are storing the characters? So very good question that is. Just see here. There is a standard called American Standard for Coded Information Interchange, which has given for every character or every symbol you can store under the character declaration has a particular value. Of course, that value has to be bounded with this range, definitely this range. That means, for example, if I am writing or if I am using capital A in my program, then capital A will first convert it into the ASCII code, that is 65, and 65 is falling in between your minus 128 to 127 or 0 to 255. Again, if I am writing small a in the character declaration, then the small a value is given as per the ASCII standard, given as 97, and of course 97 is falling under this range. Anything beyond this range cannot be stored with the character data type. For example, just see this code here. Has include stdio.h void main character a equals to 65. Here, instead of writing a character, I have written character a equal to 65. Even you can write like this here. Just a minute. Here you can write. Here you can write character A equals to single quotation mark, then A, capital A. You can write either way. Either you can write character A equal to 65, or you can write character A equals to inside single quotation mark capital A. Both are equal. How? If I will print, as we have discussed in the last class about the printf statement, now I am printing the value of A and A in both the cases with different format specifiers. That is, %d is used for integer and %c is used for character. Then we will get the value as follows. That is, the integer will come as 65 and the character will automatically convert into the character type. It will print 65. And what is %d and what is %c will discuss in subsequent programs. Already we had discussed in the last class as a brief, but we'll discuss about this in subsequent slides. Okay, so this is all about the American Standard for Coded Information Interchange. Now, question is how to get this minus 32,768 to 32,767 range, or 0 to 65,535. So very simple. Instead of this n as 8, you just put as 16, because my integer in a 16-bit machine is 16-bit. So n will be taken as 16-bit to get this particular range. And this unsigned integer you can get by putting what? To the power 16. Now to the power 16 means you have total number of what? That is 65,536 536 numbers, which varies from 0 to 65,535. Total 65,536 numbers you have. Okay, so this is all about your range of the variable or range of the data type. Now we'll check about format specifiers. Yes, there are certain format specifiers we have. So many format specifiers we have, but I have taken few in this slide. That is %s is for string. String is nothing but your collection of characters. Alok Ranjan Prusty is my name. Definitely I can say my name is a collection of alphabets. In programming sense, I can say my name is a collection of characters, and collection of characters are nothing but your string. Now I can say my name is a string. Name of my state. Okay, now whatever name I will say, that is the string. Let's say my state name is Odisha. Okay, now Odisha is a collection of character. Okay, then it is a string. Okay, if name of my institute, National Skill Training Institute for Panipat, or National Skill Training Institute for Women Panipat. Now this is a collection of characters again, and this is also a string. Whenever I want to make any operation, whether inputting a string to my system or getting a string from the system as an output, then I have to use the format specifier. They are also called conversion character, and other name of this conversion character and format specifier is space holder. Now sometimes this particular format specifier signifies your temporary memory location in your particular function, whether it is a printf function as discussed earlier, whether it is a scanf function for input. This particular conversion character or format specifier is acting as a temporary storage space to accommodate the particular value for your variable till now it is being supplied to the memory. That means for example, my neighbor is giving some sweets, okay, to me. Then he has or she has to bring it in a plate. Okay, then once I will receive the particular sweets from my neighbor, then I will take this particular sweet from his plate and I will put it inside my plate. Okay, now in between the neighbor is bringing the particular sweet in temporary period of time in a plate. Plate is a store space like memory. So this particular signifies the format specifier or your placeholder, and it is holding the particular value for a variable for temporary period of time inside a particular input or output function. Remember this. For character we are using your %c, and for %d we are using decimal integer or integer. Decimal means the base 10. Any value we are using 10, 20, 50, minus 10, minus 20, 0, everything is a decimal number, and that's why you can say %d is used for integer. And why we are using decimal integer, you can find another word I have written, unsigned integer, and the format specified is %u in the bottom line. So the difference between %u and %d is that %d can take both the positive value and negative value. Of course, it is a decimal value, that is 10, 20, 50, 10,000, 20,000, 50,000, minus 20,000. Everything I can count inside the %d format specifier, that is the simple integer or the signed integer or the short signed integer. But whenever I am writing the unsigned integer, the value is little bit bigger, that is 0 to 55,535. All the range value will be accommodated with the format specifier %u, that is percentile unsigned integer. So this is all about your conversion characters. Similarly, we can use %a for floating point values, and different conversion characters for double values. Different format specifiers we are using for for different values. And percentile E, we can say exponential notation for floating point value. Whenever we are, let's say I have a long program and I want to describe in terms of exponent, that is 2 to the power 3, 2 to the power 4. Okay, then if I want to display it, or I want to operate with the variable, with the value, okay, in terms of exponent, then I can use percentile E, whether it is for input or whether it is for output. Whenever I want to present my number in terms of exponent, let's say I have a bigger number, then I can show it by using the exponent. So in that case, you can go for the percentile E. And that can be clear whenever we will go for some programs in latter part. So all the format specifier whenever I will use, then you can be better clear about how these format specifiers are being used in the program. Okay, now it's a very small program, and you can see has include stdio.h main function. Okay, then integer age equals to 10. Now integer is the data type, age is the variable declared by the user, equals to 10 is the initial value I am supplying. I am supplying means the programmer or the user is supplying the initial value 10 to the age, to the memory location whose name is age, which can accommodate an integer value. Of course 10 is a decimal integer, so easily age can accommodate the value 10 inside 8, and which is an integer variable. Now I am using a printf function. Now printf function is the standard output function which is being defined in the header file stdio.h. So as I am including has include, that is stdio.h to my program. In Python we are also including all the library or all the functions or all the functions from math. What is the meaning of this? We are importing certain files and we are including it to the particular program. Now what is the meaning of this? That means every function, every system defined function, what I'm telling, yes, every system defined functions, okay, that can be used in the program only when you are including the definition or you are including the particular header file to your program. If you are failed to include the header file, definitely printf will lose its existence. Whenever we are including stdio.h to your program, then printf will be signified as an output function. Whenever we are removing the above line including stdio.h to your program, then compiler will never understand what is printf. So it is very much essential whenever you are using the input function and output function in C, then you have to use the respective header file to your program. Similarly, in every language, whenever you are using system defined functions in your program, then you have to include or you have to import the particular library to your program so that you can use all the functionalities available by default in your program. And whenever you are creating new functionalities, then you can call it as an user defined functions. Okay, now what I have written, printf age is percentile d comma age. Now your percentile d is the placeholder. What value it will hold? It will hold the value temporarily, the value present in age before displaying on monitor. मॉनिटर में दिखाने से पहले अगर कोई वैल्यू मैं डिस्प्ले करना चाहता हूं, then I have to store it inside a temporary memory location and I have to signify which kind of value it should hold during the displaying process. Particular percentile d or particular conversion character or particular format specifier I have to use. So the output will come like this: age is colon. I have not, the colon will not come here. If I will use the colon age is colon percentile d, then it will come. There is a mistake. Age is 10. Now 10 from where it get 10? Now from age variable, which is holding temporarily the value present in the A is the format specifier %d. Now it is displaying on screen. Then I am writing a return statement. Again, printf is also called a statement because printf is executing to make something happen or to make something come in your display monitor. As it is a function, it is performing certain work, hence you have to ending it with the semicolon. But some other language you can have no semicolon at the end of the statement and it is being executed, then there is absolutely no problem. Okay, now this is a small program. Now all these are the escape sequence you can have, that is percentile a, that is backslash character, also we can say backslash character. We are using these backslash characters to make certain changes in the output sequence. Now like we know that backslash n, now backslash n is the new line. Okay, similarly is backslash t. Backslash is t is for making a horizontal tab in between the string or in between any anything you want to display, then you can use your backslash t. Similarly, anything you are writing inside the double quotation mark, and inside the double quotation mark you are writing the backslash character, then accordingly it will act. For example, whenever I am writing backslash a inside the double quotation mark, then the output will be a alarm or beep sound coming from your system. So similarly, we have font feed like page break. We are making we can break the different page by using the format by using this escape sequence, that is your backslash character, that is your backslash f. Similarly, we can make carriage return. Every time the control will move to the beginning of your line, if that you want, then you can use that backslash r. So a small example you can find here. Let's say I'm using this this particular backslash character inside a printf statement. Now I'm writing printf Alok Ranjan Prusty, and in between Alok and Ranjan I am using the backslash character, that is /n, and I'm using the tab, that is /t, in between the Ranjan and Prusty. Then the output will come as Alok first line, then the cursor will move to the next line because /n is there, then it will start printing the Ranjan, then it will encounter a /t, then it will print Prusty with a space or with a horizontal tab. Okay, now this is all about your how to use the backslash character in your system or in your program with a printf statement. Now what about the scanf function? And you can just see here I have taken one snap from the internet. So whenever we are declaring a variable, so we have three things to remember: the name of the variable, the value to be written inside the particular memory location, whose name is, let's say here, num, and what is the address of the variable. Now three things we require whenever we are making an input function. Now for example, whenever कोई भी अगर पोस्टमैन चिट्ठी लेकर आपके घर में जाता है, अगर चिट्ठी में एड्रेस गलत है तो चिट्ठी आपका कभी भी एड्रेस में नहीं पहुंचेगा। तो इसलिए कभी कभी बोलते हैं अरे आप पिन नंबर सही से नहीं लिखे हो, आप स्टेट का नाम सही से नहीं लिखे हो। ओके, सो एड्रेस मैटर्स अ लॉट. Similarly, every memory location has its own address. Okay, so that address is very essential. Okay, that address is very essential whenever you are dealing with the input function. Okay, now you just see this small program here. Just ignore this capital M. We cannot write MAN where M is capital. It is a typing error. So small m AIN, then our that is bracket, which signifies it is a main function, and then I am declaring again small I. It may be treated as small I, that is integer norm, which is a integer type. Then print, enter the values. Now I am writing scanf %d. It is a temporary space, as I said, to understand So percentile D is the format specifier for the integer, comma, double your ampersand operator, then norm. Now what is this ampersand operator? Ampersand operator is a special operator which is also called as address of operator. Now scanf function will take the value from the standard input device, that is the keyboard. Once it will take the value, it can understand that the value that has been given by the user is percentile D type, that is integer type, and then it will be stored where? It will be stored in the norm. Norm is what? Norm is an integer variable. Okay. Now norm कहाँ है? कैसे पता चलेगा? कंट्रोल को कैसे पता चलेगा नॉर्म कहाँ है? आप तो नाम दे दिए, पर नॉर्म कहाँ पे है वो जानने के लिए मुझे उसका एड्रेस चाहिए ड्यूरिंग द प्रोग्राम एग्जीक्यूशन, during the scanf function execution, during the scanf statement execution. Then for that I am using an operator that is called address of operator. Okay, address of operator. Okay. Now I am writing printf statement, same, and I am not written any address of operator. That is the basic difference between printf and scanf function and printf and scanf statement. So how this program will get executed? The output will be like this: enter the value, because it will first print the printf statement. Then you have enter this 10, first 10, the red color 10 will be input by the user through the standard input device, that is keyboard. Then the scanf function has executed. It got the address. Let's say the address is 1000. Now it put the value 10 inside the address, that is 1000, whose name is norm. Now I want to print the value. Printf statement I have used percentile D inside the double quotation mark, that is the format specifier. Simply I have written norm. Norm is the variable name. The value present in norm is 10. It will display the 10. Then I am using percentile U, as I said, unsigned integer. The format specifier is used for unsigned integer. Remember, no address of memory can be negative. That's why every address in the memory is called as an unsigned integer. Hence, it is called address of operator norm. Now address will fetch the address of which variable? Norm, and the address is, for the timing for this picture, the address is 1000. So it will come up with this particular values. So this is all about the operation with printf and scanf function. So I think we can sum up here, so that in the next class we'll start working and start reading about your operator, the concepts of operator. So I think we are running out of time. We have already raised 14:59. So I think you have some ideas, you gain some ideas related to the programming in C. That is the second class. The first class was very primitive. Second class is also basic. In subsequent classes, we'll learn about the operators, the conditional statements, the looping, the array, pointer, structure, union, and some way file handling if possible. Okay.